to the studio. I have missed being out here, and I have missed you all so much, and I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I haven't been out in my studio for a little over a week right now. I've been in the house recovering from my anesthesia faux pas. Let me explain. Long story short, I aspirated under anesthesia and began choking, thus filling my lungs with fluid and moisture, and it was awful. Every time I breathed in or out, it actually sounded like Snap, Crackle, and Pop themselves were living in my lungs.
You know Snap, Crackle, and Pop, and how!
It became actually real scary, and I had a very hard time getting it out. I was short of breath. Not on bed rest, but just rest, because when you have fluid in your lungs like that, it's not actually good to lie down and rest. You have to take it easy, but you need to get up and move, and I've just kind of been puttering around the house. I really wanted to come out here, but I knew it wasn't time. I knew I needed to give my body the rest it needed to recover, and although I don't sound it, I feel so much better, and I feel it's the perfect time to get back out here, get into the swing of things, and get another project going. Actually had to run down into my inventory room to find something to work on. I chose a set of pine nightstands. I need to give the nightstands a scuff sanding, and thanks to today's sponsor, Basecamp, I'll be able to do that safely. Basecamp sent me their Basecamp M Pro Dusk Mask combo set, and all I can say is this is incredible. The set comes with 6 filter replacements and this gorgeous, high-quality, lightweight mask. This mask has anti-fog capabilities for clear and comfortable breathing. And its original L-strap design gives you 3 points of adjustment for a secure and protective fit. One on the nose, a headband, and the neckband. This is really comfortable and it's secure. When I bend down to work, gravity's going to keep it exactly where it needs to be thanks to the 3-point system. These masks feature melt-blown cloth with electrostatic absorption and physical airborne particle interception, which is the fancy way of saying this mask is going to provide you with 99.6% bacterial filtration efficiency and airborne particle filtration. That's amazing protection while you work. The breathable mesh shell that facilitates airflow and prevents hot air from lingering is actually a breath of fresh air while you're working. It's super comfortable and easy breathing for all-day wear. It also sports exhalation valves that reduce moisture inside the mask, keeping it dry, and skin-friendly material on the inside, making it soft and comfortable against your skin for extended periods of time. In fact, these masks are made to be worn for an extended period of time. And my favorite part of all time, Basecamp is manufactured right here in the United States. That's right, since they were founded in 2005, every mask is manufactured right here. I love buying and supporting American-made products. Basecamp has an exclusive offer for my viewers. Visit the link in the description down below and enter the code SHE10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order. And you can pick anything you want. Having the right equipment is essential for me in my line of work, and Basecamp masks tick all the safety boxes for me. Check them out for yourself and see. I want to thank Basecamp for partnering with me to sponsor this portion of today's video. Unfortunately, these nightstands have a bunch of kitschy details on them that I don't care for. I don't like this. I don't like the bottom, but it's really part of this piece and therefore not truly an option for getting rid of. The insides are in really good condition. The drawers are in decent shape. There are no smells to this. The sides have some detail on them as well. There's no stamp on them. They are wood. You can see that they're wood. Not, top-notch wood, but they're in solid condition. I thought these would be the perfect project to start with, so let's get them outside so I can give them a good scuff sanding with my surf prep. pieces and I've also cleaned them up. I'm gonna remove the crystal knobs from both of them, and I am going to get my gray primer on these pieces. I'm gonna primer them because I know for a fact that this silver Tin Man paint is nothing more than spray paint with no primer underneath it, and your project's only as good as your foundation. I am going to put 2 coats on this, letting it dry thoroughly after the first before I apply the second, and then I am even going to let them sit for the night. I like to do that on pieces I'm going to do a heavy blend on because the blend is very wet using the water, and you could reactivate the primer if you have not given it enough time to cure. This is like an insurance policy for me. I cannot stand doing work and forgetting something so simple that will ruin the entire project, and that's what will happen here if you try to do it all too fast.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live. This morning has a clear light as any to see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a wreck. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today.
Good morning, guys. It is yucky out there. How's the weather been where you guys are? Because it's really been unbearable here, and I'm actually enjoying this much cooler day. I don't know about you, but I am ready to see this start to come together and take shape and see my vision play itself out. I thought about doing a fabulous decoupage on these, but I actually decided against it. I want to actually focus on the paint and the blend and the overall look. Now, I do have a hidden agenda as to why I chose these pieces and why I'm going to be using the colors I'm going to be using today. The person who bought several pieces from me last weekend also bought this Peacock bow front dresser for her bedroom that I just did. Well, she happened to be like, what else do you have? And I was naming off things and I said nightstands. And she said, you know, I kind of need nightstands for my bedroom. So my plan is to captivate her beyond belief with 2 matching nightstands that will complement that Peacock dresser quite nicely and go absolutely fabulous in her bedroom. And even though the 2 pieces are vastly different in style and in age, it's all going to look cohesive when I'm done with it because of the colors I'm going to use. To do this blend, I'm going to be using various shades by Dixie Belle. I will link an entire product list in the description for you with all of the paint colors and pretty much anything else I've used on this project. So if you want to know, there it is. I'm gonna kind of just play it as I go, and let the design take me. Now, I just want to say there's a lot of people that really stress over blending, and I also used to be one of them. I used to try to hold myself to the standards of everyone else, trying to do it their way without realizing you have to find your own way. There are many different ways to achieve a blend, and you will find the one that works for you. So don't give up and don't overthink it too much. I know that was one of my biggest hindrances when I was starting out, is I would overthink the entire blend and pretty much scare myself out of it or talk myself into not even liking it before it was done. But I've gotten better. I believe in myself. I've given myself back that confidence I knew I had, and you just push forward. Blends are not as scary as you think they are, and we are going to get the first layer on here, which isn't going to look great. It's actually supposed to look like a Muppet painted it. Trust the process.
Tomorrow, there's no time to borrow today. Well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day today.
All right, doesn't look like much, but I promise you it's gonna get real good. Both pieces are covered. I need them to dry thoroughly. I'm not gonna leave them overnight because it's still early enough in the day where I'm gonna give them several hours, and then I'm gonna come back out and do the final blend. I'm gonna take all my brushes in the house and clean them up, and I'll be back later. It's been quite a few hours and the pieces are nice and dry, so I'm ready to put my second blended layer on. This one I'm gonna pay more attention to. It's gonna be more precise. Right now, the vibe it's giving me is too blue, so I am gonna work with colors that are going to keep the blue in the background and bring some green to the front of the piece, which is what I'm going for. Let's do this, shall we? It's kind of giving me a space vibe. I don't like it like this. Right now the piece is too blue for me, so I'm going to add a whole lot of green to it to give it that depth and dimension that I want, kind of make it look a little bit more like the Peacock dresser. The best advice I can give you when you're blending is to stop often and step back and look at it as a whole. Don't stay right up on the project. Step back and look at it. Does it need more here? Does it need less there? Your eye will figure it out, and your artist's soul will tell you exactly where to put it. Trust yourself and trust this process, because this layer is where you're going to see some real magic happen. It might look like I'm totally covering up the blue, but I'm not, and that's what differentiates these two pieces from that Peacock dresser. Because I'm not using any type of a decoupage on here, I want to get that peacock blue in there somehow, and I decided to do it on the base layer. So even though I'm going over it with the green, you are still going to see varying hues of that blue, and I really love how it's coming together. I love the highs and lows of a blend. Once the bases were done, I started on the top. I wanted to go with the exact same top I did on the Peacock, which is that Pottery faux finish. So I'm going to get my base color on. Once those two coats are dry, I'm going to bring them outside, and I am going to cover the entire piece with some spray poly. I need to have that on there before I can move on to the second part of the top, which is applying glaze. You cannot apply glaze over raw paint. You have to have a medium, such as poly, as a sealer between it. It could be wax, it could be poly, it could be shellac. It just has to be something. When the nightstands were dry, I brought them in and applied the glaze using a chip brush. I put on a decent amount. You can put on as little or as much as you want. And once I had the nightstands completely covered, I made sure to go back across them in long, straight brush strokes. So then I could go back over that using my corn husk. And I'm kind of using a really fast, sweeping back and forth motion over it, if you will. I am just doing it to what looks good to me. You can have it with more, you can have it with less. It's what looks good to your eye. It's a really great technique for giving that faux wood look to the top without having to get real intricate and using all kinds of graining tools and all these other things you need to buy. All you need is a good old corn husk broom, and you can get that on Amazon super cheap. That's where mine came from. I dug around in my hardware stash and I came up with these antique brass knobs. I think they are going to look so good on this, and it also ties in with that Peacock piece in the sense that all of the hardware is an antique brass hardware. That's going to help tie them all in together. And I also sealed the top with the same poly spray. Well, I'm finished with them, and I have to say they came out really, really good. They match this dresser, which was the whole point of trying to do it in this color. I love how the colors came out. I love the blends, and I love that on these ones, there's a little bit more of that darker blue here and there. So it's not an exact replica of the one behind me. And even though they're light years apart for their style and for their era, everything is cohesive because of the finishes we use. I put the exact same pottery bond finish on the tops of these that this one has. The colors are the same. The blend is within the same hues. I think changing the poles was an absolute must to really also bring everything cohesively together. And they're similar in the fact that they are aged brass, just like this is. So again, everything just kind of goes together nicely, and I'm really happy with the outcome, and I want to know what you guys think of it. I love the blend, and it really elevated these basic, very generic pine nightstands into something very custom and very pretty. It looks like a whole set. It looks so good together. And the fact that I could take mismatched furniture and put it together as a set is even better. Well, that means we are on to the next. It's a project I did before, and I have to say, all that glitters is not gold. And if you want to know what that means, be sure to tune in next week so you can see how we are going to transform something I've already transformed into something a little bit more in demand. As always, thank you for joining me in my studio. I have missed you guys. It felt so good to get back in here. I cannot wait to get on to the next one. And I will see you guys next time on the flip side. Bye, friends.